Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the kickoff event for the virtual APS Satellite Meeting. At a point, we'll take a picture of everybody. So it'd be good if later on you can turn on your cameras and we'll take a picture. So as we advertise, we would like to kick off this event with a panel discussion with 4 questions. So some of the panelists are already here. So if you indicated that you would like to be a panelist, then I already chose you to be a panelist. So the first panelist is Professor Ibiyinka Fuakwe. She's a professor and she's the Vice Chancellor of the University in Nigeria. So I don't know if, so she's here and Professor Fuakwe, please could you say hello to us?
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here. Good to see you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then the other person is Professor George Amolo. Professor George Amolo has been a good supporter of science, electronic structure, and research in Africa. He is a professor at a university in Kenya. So, Prof. George Amolo, you could please.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. George Amolo. The other person is Dr. Winfred Muwa. She's from Egerton University in Kenya. So, Winfred, could you please say hello to us?
Hi, everybody. I'm Winfred from Egerton.
Thank you very much. So another person is Joyful Elma Mudluli. So if you could just say hello to us. She's from South Africa, or she's from Anis.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Joyful Elma Mdluli. I just recently completed my PhD at the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa.
Oh, congratulations. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if I left out anybody. Let me quickly take a look at the list. This is my list. Oh yeah, so there's Dr. Rita, and then I shouldn't forget her. So Dr. Rita from Covenant University in Nigeria.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, so it's good to see everyone. So I think we can start. Oh, let me ask, who else would like to join the panel? So you saw the announcement and there are 4 questions. So who else would like to join to ask a question? To answer a question. So this is the set of questions. Somebody already told me why he would not like to join, so I won't force anybody to join.
Okay, so you can put me in.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll Christian Newman from Cameroon. So he'll be one of the panelists also. Okay.
Hello, sir.
So, yes.
Yeah, you can put me also.
Okay. Okay. So Sean Baptist. Okay.
Remove the H. Remove the H, please.
Remove the H. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I see my good friend Professor Garu online also. So maybe Garu will tell us a few things. Also, Banana is online also.
Please, Prof.
Yes.
Please, can you share the
questions? Yes.
Yeah, the question. Yeah, on the chat.
So I'll share these questions now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I think what we'll do now is, I thank everybody for being here, and we'll start with the first question. What are the most pleasant things about doing physics or physics research in your home country? So one of the panelists, if you want to answer, you could jump in and answer. But one thing you should do is tell us your home country, introduce yourself, and tell us what are the most pleasant things about doing physics or physics research in your home country. Thank you. Okay, so who wants to answer that? Professor Fuakwe.
I picked my question. Anyway, good
Oh, you answered your
afternoon.
question too. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My
afternoon.
home country is Nigeria, and I'm a professor of physics. And what else am I supposed to say?
Yeah, what are the most pleasant things about doing physics and physics research in your home country?
Well, one thing about doing physics in Nigeria is that one, if I talk about physics research now, we don't have too many physicists in the whole country. And so when you do it, it's a way of being identified, as a physicist and a sound one. So if you do research in physics, you have a PhD in physics, it's still a thing of pride as compared with getting PhDs in other fields. And you're very likely to also secure at least a teaching appointment. Yeah, we don't have too many industries, so getting a job in the industry may not be it, but getting a teaching appointment, you would likely get it because we don't really have too many people interested in physics as compared with other science courses or even engineering courses or medicine and so on. So that is one interesting thing about doing physics in Nigeria. Then apart from that, because the country is a developing country, there are still many questions to be answered, many problems to be answered. So when it comes to area of application, you find that there is still so many unanswered questions. But coming to talk about the question that is of interest to me.
Oh, yeah, so could we do that later? I know question 3 is the one you are interested in.
Okay,
yeah.
we should still hold on with question 1.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Those are
thank
my
you very
initial
much
points. Yeah.
So I did not think of that before. So doing physics makes you special or super special, Nigeria, because everybody is special. But then if you're a physicist, you're super special. I think I noticed that also when I tell people that I'm physicists, they think I'm some super genius. I try to ameliorate that. So Dr. Rita has her hand up also. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prof. Yes, you said it, yes, that right here in Nigeria, I'm in Nigeria. Yes, I lecture at Covenant University. So right here in Nigeria, most people that actually do physics end up as teachers. A few of them can actually go to the industry, but then it's competitive because you have engineers, you have chemists, and it's really competitive. So a number of people that actually study physics end up as teachers. And one beautiful thing about being a teacher or a lecturer is that you have access to talents, students that are motivated. And sometimes you even get to see students like you see the zeal that you have or that you had as, as a young scientist, and you see them you see it in younger people, and you're really excited. And it's really it's really nice to see that when you teach and students can actually use the application to do a number of things. So it's actually really nice. Then also you have the opportunity to, to train and mentor aspiring physicists in order to help them become world-class, researchers. So what we are trying to do is like trying to build a gap, between, what it was and what it's supposed to be. And also there are also one pleasant thing also is that you have opportunities for international collaborations. Like you can just write to somebody and the person can invite you. Yes. Maybe if you have the fund, then you can just go there with your fund, or you can also apply for some grants that can take you there. So just writing to somebody, a physicist somewhere, anywhere in the world, you can get an invitation letter to actually do that. And one other thing I must add to this is that, studying physics or doing physics in Nigeria, it's actually affordable. Like some professions, you have to do exams, you have to take exams, professional exams and all and like that. But yeah, you can actually build yourself. You can actually build your skills on your own and get the technical know-hows on how to go about things. I do condensed matter physics. So I don't really need, in quotes, a lab. I just need a laptop and probably connect to a supercomputer and do my work. So it's really affordable, kind of somewhat affordable, doing physics in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rita. Yes. We'll go on to Dr. Jean-Baptiste. So what you said is very true. It's not in many disciplines that you can write to some world-class and you get a response and they can invite you to their lab. Agree to give a seminar. So I think this is something we have in physics. I think it's because of our small size, like there are not too many. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Dr. Jean-Baptiste, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Professor, to give me the floor. My
Yeah,
name
sure.
is Dr. Jean-Baptiste Fankam from Cameroon. I am a PhD in material science, and now I'm doing a postdoc at the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. So the question about what are the most pleasant things about doing physics in my country? In Cameroon, like in many African countries, school it's not easy. So when you do physics, people look at you like a genius, because most of the time they see physics like the most difficult things. So when you do physics, they look at you like someone, an extra human, as we usually see.
Yeah, this is true.
Also, when you do physics, it can open you many doors. You cannot do physics without mathematics. So, physics, a bit of mathematics, a bit of everything in the head. So, physics like a universal field. So, when you do physics, you have an open mind, and you can jump in many other activities. Also, when you do physics, it's great because with physics, you can when you have your PhD, or perhaps when you are advanced or on your research, you can have invitation abroad. And when you go abroad and you prove that the school you have done in Africa is good, so people is interested. So when you do physics in your country, you need to do it very well, because when you will be invited abroad, you need to show that no, even in Africa, we have good teachers, we have knowledge, we can be part of the transformation of the world. So for me, it's an interesting field, and I think that being there is most grateful thing I can be part of. So
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Jean-Baptiste. Okay. So yeah, so this is correct. Everybody thinks that like you are super. They think you are Einstein. Okay, well, you do physics. Thank you very much. Dr. Joyful.
Hi, yes.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, I'm from South Africa. So the most pleasant things about doing physics or physics research in my home country, I would say, would be the fact that we have a lot of research facilities available for us at our disposal. So it's very interesting for me, because I came from a place where I'd never been to a physics lab, and then I went to university, and then we started doing chemistry labs where you were inside a lab and you were doing experiments. And then as I moved on to my postgraduate career, I was then exposed to particle accelerators and also like going down to Itemba labs and you see the cyclotron. So it's like very interesting and also very exciting, because it's something that not everyone has an opportunity to like see and observe.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jeffo. This is very, particularly for South Africa. Yeah, so this is a nice thing. Okay, so we will go on to the next question. The next question is, if I had the power or the funds, what would I change concerning physics research in my home country? And Dr. Winfred was one that said she would like to answer that. And before Dr. Garu leaves, I would like him to answer that also. If I had the power of funds, what would I change concerning physics in my home country? Okay, Dr. Winfred.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor. I am Dr. Winfred Mulwa from Kenya. I'm a lecturer at Egerton University. And of course, I teach physics, computational physics. In Kenya, of course, as a physicist, as a researcher in physics, you come up with an intellectual property. That is, you come up with a technology. When you get this technology, you are supposed to protect it because it is yours. And in Kenya, we protect it through the Kenya Industrial Property Institute, which is KIPI. I have one technology which I'm protecting, a peace body in Kenya, but it has taken me 2 years to protect it, and I'm still having some issues. You sort out one issue, another one comes up. For example, now I'm sorting out the issue of the safety of the elements I'm using in my technology. So if at all I'm given the power and the funds in Kenya, I can speed up the problem of protecting intellectual property.
Okay.
I'm not the only one. I've interacted, we go for trainings, like next week, I'm going for another training on intellectual property. So I'm 4 hours drive from here in Machakos. And my friends are facing the same problem here in Kenya, delay in protecting the technology. And as time goes on, you find that your technology is already stolen. So that is a major problem in Kenya. So if I'm given a chance, I will work on that.
Okay.
Again, I'm a woman in physics, and I teach girls in class, both undergraduate and postgraduate. I find that the ratio is still 1 to 3, both in undergraduate and postgraduate. That is, girls to gentlemen, it's 1 to 3. So there's still a challenge in the number of students taking physics in our institutions. And there is need to go to, not to talk to them when they come to the university, we need to go to the high school. And we need to encourage them, encourage the girls. This year I have visited 3 high schools and I have talked to the girls. I'm visiting another high school after Easter, which is in April, and I'll talk to the girls. But the limiting factor is I have the powers, yes, but I don't have the funding moving from one high school to the other. But I feel that we still need to talk to these girls to choose physics. Otherwise, very soon the ratio will go to 0 point something if we go as per the trade in girls who are taking physics in Kenya. So I find it a major challenge. Again, there is need for physics in the northeastern part of Kenya. As I have said, I teach in Egerton. Egerton is known for agriculture. That is food production and production of milk. And in the northeastern part of Kenya, people are dying of hunger, but there's a lot of milk produced from camel. There's a lot of camel milk. So as physicists, what are we doing in the food preservation? So if I can have the funding and the power, I can come up with of course, I'm in the process because my technology in the preservation of camel milk in the northeastern part of Kenya. And so far, we are able to preserve more milk than they used to do previously the last 2 years. So we are heading somewhere. So given the powers and the funds, I can increase the amount of camel milk being preserved in the northeastern part of Kenya, and I can be able to at least to save more families from hunger and improving their livelihood, because that is their main source of income. Camel milk is the main source of income in the northern part of Kenya. Again, there is this one may be from one university to the other, but it might be across the board in the universities in Kenya. Physics researchers, we are overburdened with the number of units we teach. Like, for example, now I'm having 2 units in the postgraduates, teaching the postgraduates, and other 2 units in the undergraduates. That is a total of 4. You have to teach, you have to examine, and after that, you have to go to the field and you have to carry out this research. If I thought I had the powers, I could have said that research being taken as 2 units. So if you are a researcher in physics, then you are supposed to teach only 2 units, 1 unit in postgraduate and 1 unit in the undergraduate, so that the 2 other units are compensated in research. Basically, those are my 4 main items which I would have addressed if at all I was given the power and the funds in Kenya. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Winfred. Thank you for your insights on protecting of IP, increasing the ratio of female to male. How to reduce our teaching also is something we should do, and how to make physics more applicable to pressing needs. These are things we need to work on. Thank you very much. Professor Garu is with us, but he doesn't have a good internet connection, but he has been able to put something online. So if you can read it, I'll read it also. So one major issue could be to do a curriculum review and redesign at the undergraduate and graduate levels that would address the African-based research problem. So this is in line with what Winfred said. This needs a huge fund to equip both human resource and infrastructure. And then, of course, we need to balance with the international research topics too. So I think this is correct. Most of the people that design most of our curriculum, they designed it based on what they thought were important. And we also nowadays, we know there's some things that are important. For instance, it would be good to contribute to neglected tropical diseases. There are ways that physics can contribute to that, but people in the West will probably not contribute to that. Okay. Will not contribute much to that because it's not something that really affects them. So the things that really affect us in Africa, to be good to design our curriculum to address those things. Affect everybody everywhere. For instance, cancer is not restricted to the US or to Africa. So it would be good to do things like that related to things that relate to us in Africa. One of the things, of course, in Africa also, we need things for cooling. This is very important for us in Africa. In, say, Norway, they probably don't need cooling. They probably need it, which is heating. So these are some of the things that I think important to consider. Along the line of curriculum design, nowadays, I think it's very important to design curriculum that incorporates computing and programming into physics, and also yes, you can be also narrow-minded, I think, about machine learning. So I think this is something that is important to do in redesigning our curriculum. I give the floor to Professor Fuakwe to say a few words about this also.
Yeah, if I have the funds, I'll be speaking from a Nigerian perspective. The contributor from South Africa said one of the things that makes physics research interesting in South Africa is because they have the infrastructure, they have the equipment and facility to do applied work, and it's fascinating. I want to say that for us in Nigeria, we don't have too much of that. So if I have the funds, that's the thing I'm going to do. I'm going to use the funds to ensure all physics and even science laboratories are well equipped enough to make students to be interested in doing more research work. Apart from that, I would also use the funds to also equip physics and generally science laboratories in secondary schools, in high schools in the country, because that is really where the interests are formed. I will ensure all the science, physics laboratories in high schools are well equipped so that the children, the students, pupils will be interested in seeing practical physics in action. Then I will also use the funds to give what I call in-service training to science teachers, physics teachers, especially during the holidays, the 3 months holiday. I will use it to train them. You see, many children, students, pupils from high schools hate physics because they're not well taught. So these teachers that we have already, I'll bring them for in-service training so that they can be well trained to be able to teach physics better to the students in high schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much. These are very salient points that I've also been thinking about, particularly the last one, training teachers. But also equipping our labs is also very important. So like Dr. Jeffo said, it was seeing a lab that one of the things that encouraged her work in physics was like experiencing labs or seeing labs. So I think this is very important in different parts of Africa for us to have labs this way. Professor George Amolo has his hand up.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I'll try and make some points without repeating, or in the worst case, maybe emphasizing. If I had funds and power, I would support the self-driven students to pursue career in physics by providing them tuition and living expenses in local universities that have adequate teaching and faculty. A lot of our students generally cannot afford fees, so it's one way of uplifting them. I will also provide public level education on the role of physics in national development. This is a question that is always asked, and in cases like this, you will see that careers in which we have health, food security, and construction will normally be looked at more positively than physics. But remember that these rely on fundamental physics. Probably our communities want to see an end product, but not what really goes out of them. I will also engage international partners in Africa and abroad so that we have the benchmarking and exchange of students and faculty. And lastly, we need to start showcasing services and products that are directly related in physics teaching. This is also related to a public education about what we do. You have just mentioned about disease and food. In a way, physics comes in very strongly in machine learning and computing in multidisciplinary research. I think we have probably not sold enough about our capabilities and what we can do. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Jojamolo. I think these are very important things. I think one thing also we shouldn't forget, many of us, we are not doing research in defense, and I think this is very important. And this is one area that will catch any government's attention, like research in defense. So you could think about it, of course, typically to be classified, but then it's something to really think about, which is almost undeniable that they will need physics. Some people argue that World War II would not have been stopped without physicists because they made the bomb that rattled everybody that was dropped August 6th. But if they didn't do that, that would be maybe the World War II would have continued. Okay, thank you very much. Professor Fuakwe said she will also allocate money for basic science. Actually, taking some notes, although we are recording also. So thank you very much to everybody who has contributed to this question. I'm watching the time and we still have time left. So let's go on to the next question. The next question is, what is the general perception about physics or physics research in my home country, compared, for example, with chemistry or engineering or medicine? We've responded to that in some way as we spoke, but I'll give Professor Fuakwe the floor to respond to this, and anybody else who wants to add some other things to this. So what is the general conception about it?
Okay, thank you very much. One thing is, a lot of people think, what is the application of physics? Is it really useful? Is it applicable? Does it really solve the problem of poverty, of development of the country? And so you find that even government officials, instead of allocating money to encouraging research in the sciences, or especially in physics, they will just think, look, this is not going to put food on the table for the citizens. So they don't really give it much regard. Then on the side of students, a lot of students feel or think or have the perception that physics is difficult, that physics is very difficult, or chemistry is better, and engineering or medicine is applied. Those are professional fields, they are easier, and all of that. Then there's also another perception that when you study physics, you're only restricted to a career in teaching, because like we said, because of limited industries in Africa, people don't easily secure the few jobs available. So a lot of people are forced to stay with teaching. So people feel they are restricted. So they rather study professional courses where they can find jobs in so many other places. Then professional courses, people prefer to study professional courses. Even parents encourage their children to study professional courses because they feel that if you do those courses, you have better rewards. And in case there are no jobs, you can easily become an entrepreneur of your profession. And So that also drives people away from studying physics. So another thing is there is no guaranteed career path, just like I said earlier on. For chemistry, I mean, you know, chemistry, you find application of chemistry in so many fields, either even in the drug industry, in pharmacy, in medicine itself, in industry, manufacturing, just name it. You'll find jobs for chemists. And so that is, those are some of the perceptions I think people have towards physics as compared with other subjects and profession.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. This is very good. I think job security is something very important, and everybody wants a job after they finish. So I think physics is in a good place compared to, say, people that do psychology, science, or other things. So, but thank you for this thing. We need to also think about how to get jobs for people that finish in physics. My thinking now is to draw people along the lines of machine learning, because then they can still, of course, you could say this is a co-path, because some people, after they finish physics with machine learning, then they can get a job with Google and they don't do physics anymore, but they get a good job. So I think we need to balance and think of ways to be able to combine both. Yeah. So please, let's take a picture now, and then you can turn off your cameras. But if you please could turn on your camera. If you can't turn on your camera, this is fine. Maybe you're in a place that's difficult to turn on your camera, or for personal reasons, you don't want to turn on your camera. You have to be careful about security also. But if you can turn on your camera, this would be good. Then I'll take a picture, and then hi. So I'll take a picture, and then Christian is going to respond to this question because he had his hand up. Okay, thank you. Abdallah, it's good to see you. Yeah. Professor George Amolo.
Hello, Dr. Omololo.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, doing well. Right now
you're at work now. You see me at work now.
Oh yeah, I see you. Yeah.
But I decided to join to see what is going on.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, no problem, George. This is fine. Georges is not here. Okay, Sonia is here also. If you could turn on your camera so that we'll take a picture. Oh, Sonia is here now. Okay. Oh, okay. So I've taken one. Save it. If you could still turn on your camera, this. Okay. Okay, so let me do it one more time. Okay. So I'll say thank you very much. I think I have the most. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. So if you want to turn off your camera, you can. So no problem. Thank you very much. I have the picture now. Okay. So Dr. Christian had his hand up. He wanted to answer the question, if you had funds. No, not that. The perception of people. Perception of physics related to other courses. What is the general perception about physics or physics research in your home country compared to,
Thank you, sir, to giving me the floor.
Yeah, sure.
I am Dr. Christian Benjamin, PhD from University of Yaoundé in Cameroon. For the general perception about physics in my country is sometimes obvious. People think that you are doing things that are not appropriate for our society. We are very far to the problem of daily life. And it seems to be more theoretical. Physics researchers are more focused on simulation on computers and use of software than to go to practical environment. And this research is not applied in our society anymore. They are for developed country, more to more. It's the same in chemistry, because physics and chemistry are brother and sister. There's no difference. It's a little bit less in engineering and medicine, because in engineering, you can be recruited in industrial factories to develop something and be formed again. Because many of engineers were recruited, they are formed again to work on that industry, because they are not have a good formation to face the solution of the problem of that industry. Also, Africa needs water, energy, good health, basic things, but the researchers are more focused on other problems. The gap between advanced researchers and our society are very large. Industrial, for example, are putting faith more in researchers who are being formed in developed countries than those who are being formed in our, in our country here in Africa, because the formation is not more updated sometimes. For example, we'll see new tools like machine learning, high performance computing, or other new tools. We are not teaching many universities in Africa. We need to update this. We need also to put in practice what we are doing in laboratory, to equip our laboratory to bring our daily problems there. Because it's not just a fact to do research to help the other to grow. Our administrator, our politician should change the thing and bring daily problem life into our school, because that's the problem we face now. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Christian. Thank you for your insight into this. Yes, so I think maybe for a long time, people are still going to think more highly about people that do applied research. So people in medicine, people in engineering, yeah. But I think as we do some of the things they're suggesting, then it could be more obvious why physics is very important. So Professor Malik Maza is here, but let's go on to the fourth question. I'll later on give an opportunity to Professor Malik Maza to talk to us, but this will be after I ask a question that Dr. Lawrence asked. Okay. So let's ask the final question. And the final question, sorry, how interested are young people in physics in my home country, and what can I do to increase or sustain the level of interest? So Dr. Joyful will be the one to answer first, please. So the question is this: how interested are young people, that's like 14 to 24-year-olds, physics in my home country, and what can we do to increase or sustain the level of interest? Yeah. So Dr. Joyful, you will go first. Oh, you are muted. You are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so this is a two-part question. So I will first address the first part, which asks how interested are young people in physics in my home country? So if we start with the age group of 14 to 18, which would be our high school learners, based on my personal experience, I would say that there are very few young people that are interested, but not because they don't want to pursue a career in physics, but it's the lack of knowledge about what you can do with physics. So I can give an example. I recently visited a local high school in my hometown on the International Day for Women and Girls in Science. So I had an opportunity to engage with like almost 52 learners who were from grade 10 and 12, who both did maths and physics. So already it was like narrowed down to how many of them are doing physical sciences and mathematics. So the main reason for this visit obviously was to encourage young girls to follow careers in the sciences. But since I am from the physics field, I was hoping to get them to lean towards the physics career side. So during my engagement with these learners, I realized that very few of them understood the role that physics plays in their community, or what kind of physics careers there are available for them. If they were to get a degree in physics, what would they do with it? And I also noticed that this is not just based on whether we say that people are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds where they like in rural areas where they have no access to technology, but then it also applies to schools where you have where they have all of those tools available for them, but then physics is still not something that stands out for them. So I've also been involved in like judging science expos for NGOs, as well as like the ESCOM Expo for young scientists. So these expos as well encourage young people to like identify problems in their communities and then come up with solutions. And over the years, I've noticed that the same thing happens where they do come up with problems and solutions, but none of the solutions are like physics related. Like very few of them think of alternative ways to create electricity, but then a lot of them will lean towards other things like food security. Not that it's not an issue, but then you can see that they don't actually identify like physics related concepts that could possibly be something that they can solve using physics. And then, so like I said, the main message from this is like the problem is not the lack of interest in physics, but the lack of knowledge in what they can do with physics. And then, so if we move on to the higher level where we go to university, we have many undergraduate students in first year that do physics, but only because they're required to do it for different courses. So we can't look at first year classes and think, we have a lot of physics students. That's not a good way to gauge how many kids or how many first years do physics. However, when we start moving on to second year and third year and then honors, we realize that the numbers start decreasing. Like when I did undergrad, we had over 100 students in my first year, but then by the time I was doing honors, we only had 12 people left who were interested in doing honors. And then after that, we moved on to do their masters and PhDs. So in terms of university level, I think the main reason why we don't have as many people interested is because we lack funding for undergraduate studies in physics. So I myself, I had to be self-funded because I couldn't find any scholarships that funded people who wanted to pursue a career in physics. I also didn't know that there was a career in physics until I made it to university as well. So, and then if we move on to the second part of the question is, what can we do to increase and sustain the level of interest? So the first thing is to basically make our communities aware of the role physics plays in their everyday lives. So when we have parents who understand the impact of physics, it's easier for them to also encourage their children to pursue physics careers. So I am part of the Women in Physics in South Africa Forum, which forms part of the South African Institute of Physics. So basically what the South African Institute of Physics has identified in South Africa is that we have a problem in terms of having poor maths and science education, which leads to a very low physics pass rate at school, which in turn then results to us not having enough people taking up physics in tertiary training. So to combat this issue, what the South African Institute of Physics aims to do is to improve physics education and also research, and then also develop a nurturing an inclusive next generation of physicists. So over the years, the South African Institute of Physics, as well as the Women in Physics in South Africa, what we've done is we've hosted and organized a number of events where we go out into the communities and encourage, while the Women in Physics, we specifically focus on young girls, where we encourage them to follow careers in physics, while the South African Institute as a whole focuses on just encouraging everyone in general to do physics. And then they also offer like physics education training for high school teachers, so they can also be able to like teach the kids and make them interested in pursuing careers in physics.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This is very insightful. I think it's very part of it ties with what Professor Jojamolo said already, that we need to educate the public about what we do as physicists. Yeah, so it's very important for people to know what we do as physicists. And then as Dr. Lawrence said in the chat also, the problem is not lack of interest of learners, it's lack of employment opportunities as physicists, okay, for physics degree holders. So people don't know exactly what they will do with physics once they are done. So I think these are things that we have to think of about how to address. So I salute your efforts, encouraging girls to jump into physics, and I think we should do more of this also. Thank you very much. So this was the final question we wanted to ask. Would anybody else like to say something about it? As a question Lawrence asked that I would like to share with you. The question is about how do you access, oh, okay, sorry. Let's first take the floor, open the floor to anybody who would like to make a comment. Maybe I didn't call on you, and or you didn't have something made up in your mind to say, but now you are able to think of something that you'd like to mention.
Now, can I just say that my comment about the last question is that there are a few students who are interested in physics.
Okay.
There are also some who don't even know what science is. I remember I was invited to give an end of year speech during the end of year of one secondary school, the prize giving day. And I gave a talk on what I do as a scientist and all of that. Do you know that at the end of the talk, one of the pupils came to me and said, "Mommy, what does a science do? A scientist, what does a scientist do?" So maybe because of the way we teach physics, it's abstract. And many of these children don't even know what physics is, neither talk about how they can build a career, out of it. But I also want to say that there are a few too that know what physics is and they are interested in studying it. But you find that some of them, like the person who reacted to that question said, they come from poor backgrounds. I've seen a boy walk up to me, even recently, and say, "I want to study physics. You are my role model. I want to study physics." And I kept asking myself, how can I encourage this boy? But I know his father is very poor. He's very, very poor. Now, if such a student is encouraged with scholarship, and is brilliant, the student is brilliant, and is encouraged with some funds, then such a student, can be encouraged to study the course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Professor Malik Maza is here, who will be leaving, but I told him just 1 minute. So Prof. Malik Maza, if you want to talk to us before you leave. You're unmuted, and if you can start your video and you can tell us something.
Hi. Good afternoon, colleagues. I really do apologize. I joined a little bit late. I do apologize. I arrived from overseas just now. Anyway, I think we have one of the major problems in physics so far is that we are not doing enough at the level of at the school level. I think we should really embark in marketing extensively the importance of physics and its impact within the society at the school level, at the learner level, and also engage extensively with the public.
Okay.
And I think we should show them that the multifaceted aspect of physics, and starting with the cell phone, starting with the flat screens, starting with the, how can I say, purification of water, generation of energy, production of fertilizers, and that kind of stuff. And also showing the importance of physics in coming being the corner component of production of pharmaceuticals, modeling, and so on. In a few generation, the new generation of molecules for the medicine of the future, and so on. I think we are not doing justice to the discipline of physics ourselves. We have to engage extensively at the school level and with the public, and also ensure that we discuss extensively and we interface mainly with the policymakers in that regard. But let's engage extensively with the public, with the community and the learners at the lowest level. For example, to share with you a typical example that we will be starting in effect next month. It's called Candle for Rural Areas. The idea is we have bought around 10,000 solar lamps, and these 10,000 solar lamps, they have each solar lamp has a small PV cell on the top, and has a condenser, a condensator, battery type at the bottom. So the idea is to give this, to visit schools, 5 schools in each of the 9 provinces in South Africa. And in each school, we will be delivering and speaking about renewable energies, and using in particular the solar lamp, the solar candle lamp as a typical example, whereby we show them here is what we are catching the solar radiation, converting it to electricity, and storing it in a small battery at the bottom. And so we explain to them the importance of renewable energies. One, this importance of energy, the importance of and how the solar energy is converted. And we speak about the solid state physics and what. We give them the basic principles, and we show them at the end that this lamp, they will get it as a gift. Not as a gift like this, no, but certainly after responding to a questionnaire. Those who are the winners will be receiving for free that lamp. And also we have a large panel for each school. We have each a large panel that can be used. First of all, the candle will be used by the students when they go back home to work in the night. Yeah. So it's not a gift for a gift. No, it will be a useful gift. Because instead to use a paraffin, they use a solar lamp. But and they know exactly how the solar lamp works. Yeah. Being, I can say, solid state and so on. And we also involve the community. We speak with the chief of the community of the village. And that chief will involve him or involve her, showing them that they can use solar energy, how can I say, as a mean of a source of energy to charge their cell phones and so on. And to tell them that you can do it, yet you are out of the grid, you can do it, and this is due to the science. Yeah. And it is like this that we will encourage the number of youngsters to be attracted to physics.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. It's good to have you. Yeah, I was thinking of something along this line. a few weeks back, because there's a person in India that has done something like this. So he has reached like more than 1 million students in India. So I was thinking we could do something similar to this in Africa also. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, so there's this question, and so at this point, I will say thank you to everybody. We'll end the recording here, and then we'll answer this question from Dr. Lawrence.